welcome to I24 News Sports Daily Magazine with all the latest scores and stories from around the world. Thursday evening, the weekend is almost here, and these are the headlines. France may have had troubles qualifying to the World Cup, but they look ready now. They beat Holland, the runners-up in 2010, with 2 beautiful goals. According to FIFA, Brazil is only 11th in the world. Well, think again. The Brazilians beat South Africa 5-0. Are they the clear favorites for their home World Cup? Denver lost 6 straight games, but then the Mavericks came to Colorado and the Nuggets are now finally back to their winning ways. Dallas continues to stumble. And we look back to the top 5 moments of this past week. Ronaldo is already celebrating. Murray and Djokovic find time for selfies. Hello again and thank you for joining us. We are live from the Jaffa Port. It was a big night of international football friendlies, the last time the national teams will get together before they do it in late May ahead of the World Cup. Many big games were played around the world. We begin with a clash at the Stade de France, where the tricolor faced the orange, France against the Netherlands. The last time the home team took to the ground in Saint-Denis, it ended with a major victory, 3-0 over Ukraine in November, which secured their place in Brazil. Now, full house again for this friendly, and France putting on another impressive display. They almost took the early lead, but Karim Benzema's header is saved on the line. The game is still scoreless. The Dutch were missing injured Arjen Robben, but Robin van Persie was on. He was sick the last few days, but healthy enough to challenge Hugo Lloris. The rebound goes over the crossbar. The breakthrough came right after the half-hour mark. Long ball to Benzema. Difficult angle, defender on the way, no worries. The Real Madrid striker finding the net. What a shot, sending the Stade de France to celebrate. And it already got better for the French. 4 minutes from halftime, danger coming from the right again. The cross coming in, and Matuidi with an acrobatic shot. France winning 2-0.
You know what happened on November 19? This wasn't the same context, but we showed the same collective desire to play as a team against a quality side. They had the better of the first 10 or 15 minutes, and we were a bit timid, but after that we upped the pace and took advantage.
6 teams won a World Cup they hosted. Brazil is not one of them, but by the way the Seleção looks in preparation, that statistic is about to change. Before the game in Johannesburg, there was a tribute to Nelson Mandela, the man who brought the World Cup to South Africa. The number on the shirt was Mandela's prisoner number. After the kickoff, there was nothing emotional for the South Africans. Brazil was all over the place right from the beginning. Oscar puts them on top after 9 minutes, and now it's time for Neymar. The Barcelona superstar fires from the edge of the area, and Brazil leads 2-0 at the break, and we will have more of Neymar in just a bit. Brazil changed the yellow jersey to blue ones at the half, and it only took them 21 seconds after the break to score again. Neymar, of course, with a chip. The most beautiful of the Brazilian penta came from Fernandinho. Distance is not a problem for him. Perfect shot, and Brazil are up 4-0. There was time for one more, and you well know who did it. Neymar has 3. Brazil has 5. Don't worry, he was up in no time. The Seleção looking mighty scary. Another team who can make it all the way in Brazil is Germany, who hosted Chile in Berlin. Both teams are qualified to the World Cup, and Chile is enjoying a very successful run, losing just twice in their last 15 matches. Germany was the better side at the early stages, and they get their reward on 16 minutes. Nice combination in the penalty area. Mesut Ozil setting up Mario Götze, who finds the net. The Arsenal midfielder almost losing it, but finds his way on time, and the Bayern Munich man finishes the job. Chile improved after the break, showing their potential. Eduardo Vargas beats the goalkeeper, but not the crossbar. Germany narrowly winning 1-0. These 2 teams, Germany and Chile, won the last 2 internationals matches held at Wembley, and after these 2 losses, England desperately needed a confidence-boosting victory. Steven Gerrard led the 3-Lion team to their home match against Denmark. The disappointing Danes did not qualify to Brazil, and with the display they put on at Wembley, it's quite easy to understand why. England was in control of the game, only the post saves the visitors in the first half. The team in white kept on pressing after the break. They were frustrated again and again, but eventually the goal did come. Daniel Sturridge with a header guarantees the win. Sturridge does not stop scoring for Liverpool lately. Now he does it for England. It was only a narrow 1-0 win, but manager Roy Hodgson knows his team should have scored many more.
I'd have been happy if it had been 3 or 4-0, as it so easily could have been, because we created a lot of goal chances, but I was really pleased with the way so many players who've not played many games for England took their chance tonight to play in an England shirt in front of a big crowd in a game that obviously we wanted to win. So I am pleased with the victory, but I'm even more pleased with the way, especially during large periods of the second half, we played, because it bodes well for the future.
Two of the most interesting teams we'll see in Brazil met in Brussels as Belgium hosted the Ivory Coast. So many big players in these two squads. Thibaut Courtois, Eden Hazard and Marwan Fellaini on one side, Didier Drogba and Yaya Toure on the other side. Don't be surprised if we see them making it very far in the World Cup. The Belgians dominated the action early on. Fellaini should have scored here, but his shot is saved. The corner comes in and guess who heads it in? Fellaini, of course, putting Belgium up front. The Manchester United man is just a part of this golden generation in Belgian football. Another member is Christian Benteke, although he should have done a lot better here. What a miss! There was not much time for the Brussels crowd to be disappointed. Just 2 minutes later, the visiting goalkeeper returns the favor and squeezes in Belgium's second. The hosts have a lot of firepower up front, but some problems in back, and when Didier Drogba is around, there's no room for mistakes. The Galatasaray forward is always on alert and brings the Elephants back to the game. And more trouble for the Belgian defense on stoppage time. No one clears the danger and Max Gradel ties the game. 2-2 was the final score. And in other results from last night, the replay of the Euro 2012 final ended with the same team winning. Spain beat Italy 1-0. Argentina was not able again to beat Romania, as Leo Messi and his gang did not score in Bucharest, a very disappointing scoreless draw. Another South American team who could not win in Europe was Uruguay. Their game in Austria ended in a 1-0 draw, and Portugal beat Cameroon 5-1. Cristiano Ronaldo scored twice and became the all-time leading scorer for his national team. And joining us now in the studio is I24 News football analyst Yoav Borovic. Hi, Yoav.
Hi, Jonathan.
Yoav, let's start with the hosts, with Brazil. They were perhaps under the radar because obviously they didn't participate in qualifications. But looking at their latest friendly results, looking at the fact that they won the Confederations, beating Spain in the final, we can speak perhaps of a clear favorite here.
Yeah, I don't know if we can title them clear favorites, but definitely favorites. We still have Germany, Spain, Argentina, very strong teams, but Brazil, you know, the games will be in Brazil. Brazil have 5 World Cups. As you said, they won the Confederation. They're very strong. You know, Neymar is a megastar. We see him here with the hat-trick yesterday.
Another hat-trick again.
Another hat-trick. You know, he's by far the best player of Brazil, but still they have Paulinho, Fernandinho scored a beautiful goal last night. Marcelo, Lucas, Oscar, a lot of talent in Brazil, and they are favorites. And if they won't win with the World Cup, it will just be a tremendous story.
Of course, yeah, it didn't happen the last time they hosted
national
the World
heartbreak.
Cup in 1950. They have to do it now. Another very interesting team to look at is France. Yes, they did have a very hard time in qualifications, hardly qualified, but they are there finally in the last 32, and they beat the Netherlands last night. Yes, Arjen Robben didn't play on the orange side, but when you're France, when you have Ribéry, Benzema, Giroud, Evra, so many players in your squad, you're always a favorite.
For sure. And you know, you said Benzema. Benzema is playing beautifully for Real Madrid, scoring a lot of goals. Ribéry, we talked about him as player of the year. France, as you said, it was hard for them to advance, but eventually they beat the Ukraine 3-0 in a very convincing fashion. Yesterday, we can see now against Holland, you know, the finalists from the last World Cup, a very strong team with Van Persie, with all the Dutch stars. Still, France beats them 2-0. You know, France can really go far. They always have the talent, not always the mentality, but if it will come together with a winner coach, Didier Deschamps, they can go far.
I think the question is, how will the squad be together socially? That was their biggest problem in the last few tournaments. Now, if we look at another team with great expectations, that's Germany. They won 1-0 against Chile last night, but they were not so convincing, and we saw that game could have easily ended in a tie.
Right. You know, Germany, they have a bit of a goal-scoring problem. You know, they're looking to get Klose his 69th goal in the national uniform. He couldn't get it last night, but we know Klose, you know, a legendary striker, especially with the national team. But last few years, you know, he's not as sharp. He's very old. They rely now a lot with Mesut Ozil, not a goal scorer, you know, but yesterday...
And not so good recently with Arsenal.
Mario Götze, Podolski, who's not playing a lot in Arsenal, is in the national team. So we don't see a lot of, you know, forward goal-scoring stars with Germany. But it is Germany, you know, great midfield,
they can
great
always
defense,
do that.
good goalkeeping, and they also have the talent. You know, Germany, one of the top 3-4 teams in the World Cup.
And another interesting fixture last night, Belgium against the Ivory Coast. Very entertaining game. A 2-all Fellaini scoring, Drogba scoring. This could easily be a game we see in one of the knockout stages in Brazil.
For sure. You know, everybody's talking about Belgium. If Belgium will go far in the World Cup, it wouldn't be a surprise because everybody's talking about them. They have so much talent. On the other side, Ivory Coast, the most talented African team, you know, with Didier Drogba and Kalou and Wilfried Bony and Yaya Touré, the great Yaya Touré, the great Didier Drogba. You know, for them to get to the quarterfinals,
not a surprise at all.
Not a surprise at all. I would love to see that happen, you know, to see an African team
really making it.
Yeah, really go far. We saw it with Ghana, you know, but Ghana didn't have the great players that
the
Ivory Coast has, and it will be fascinating to watch them in Brazil.
Very interesting to see both these teams. Yoav Borovic, thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Moving to the NBA now, and two teams with a negative momentum met in Denver as the Nuggets hosted the Dallas Mavericks. Denver had it going on quite from the start with a crazy 4-point play by Ty Lawson. He had a solid game with 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists. The Nuggets opened a double-digit lead early on, leading by as many as 13 points in the first quarter. The home team kept the momentum in the second as well, and just before halftime, Randy Foye hits the tray. The Nuggets lead by 17 at the break. Second half, Denver showing some nice ball movement and teamwork, resulting with another triple, this time by Wilson Chandler, who led the team with 21. The Nuggets were hitting the threes and were simply too much for the Mavericks. Denver finally gets the win, snapping a 6-game losing streak, 115-110. Now, as we do on Thursdays, it's time to look back at the top 5 plays and moments from the week that is ending. Here they are. Ukraine beat the United States 2-0 in their friendly match, but the result is not really important here. Number 5 goes to the Peace for Ukraine game. It was scheduled to be held in Krakow, but was moved to Cyprus due to the tensions with Russia. The main goal was to raise even more awareness for the situation in Ukraine. Ronaldo is already in World Cup mood to take her number 4 as Brazil marked the occasion. 100 days left until the World Cup kicks off in Sao Paulo. There are still tough challenges ahead, but the samba in the streets and the yellow-green lights on the venues already fill the air with expectations. Number 3 goes to a special event at New York's Madison Square Garden, an exhibition match on World Tennis Day. Novak Djokovic and Andy Murray took to the court and also took some selfies that were very fast to go on Twitter. They are phenomenal tennis players. Not so sure we can say that about their filming abilities. One came from the edge of the area, another one from a beautiful chip, and the third one with a fine touch in front of goal. Neymar takes our number 2 for his hat-trick against South Africa, sparking a lot of optimism among Brazilians ahead of the World Cup they will host within 3 months. And the winner this week, number 1 indeed, Atletico Madrid's captain Gabi with a superb goal in the Derby Madrileño against Real. Cholo Simeone can't believe it, the fans can't believe it, but it happened. 35 meters out, the path is clear, boom and in! Gabi makes sure Atletico Madrid is still in the title race in La Liga. MotoGP action now as we head to the third and final day of tire testing in Australia. Jorge Lorenzo was the fastest rider in the previous 2 days, and once again the Spaniard was in the need for speed. Lorenzo set the fastest pace at Phillip Island, clocking 1 minute and 29 seconds, the fastest time on all 3 days in Australia. Another Spaniard, Honda's Dani Pedrosa, finished second both on the timesheet and the overall in the final day, while Valentino Rossi was just having fun. Now we can only wait for the season to begin. The first race will take place in Qatar on March the 23rd. We started our show with football, and we will finish with football, but with a really different kind. The East Midlands of England were the place for one of the oldest and probably craziest formats of the game. The town of Ashburn staged the annual Shovertide football match, an ancient game with the goal areas around 3 miles apart between 2 watermills, lasting up to several hours. The game has very few rules and no limit on the numbers of people taking part, and most likely has nothing to do with standard football. first recorded reference of the Shovertide match, which is also known as the Hug football, is dated back to 1683, and the traditional match continues to wreak havoc in Ashburn until this very day. Before we end our show, we look again at the results of yesterday's friendlies. Spain beat Italy 1-0 in a replay of the Euro 2012 finals. Brazil, very impressive, winning 5-0 in South Africa. Portugal beating Cameroon 5-1, Cristiano Ronaldo scoring twice. France beat Netherlands 2-0. Argentina was not able to beat Romania again. Austria and Uruguay tied 1-1. 2-2 between Switzerland and Croatia. Same result between Belgium and the Ivory Coast. And Germany beating Chile 1-0. That's it for today. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget you can watch us anytime on our website at i24news.tv. Enjoy your weekend. Bye-bye.